I will be implementing Lab 2 for my ECE 2020 video demonstration. I'll follow all procedures and steps to achieve the desired circuit. Lab 2 Implementation D. For the breadboard, I gave all ICs, VCC and ground, as well as the whole breadboard. My inputs are myDAQ line 0 is A of 0 input X for the decoder. myDAQ line 1 is clock connection. myDAQ line 2 is enable reset. The lines 4 is the output S of 0. The line 5 is S of 1 output. The lines to read will be 0 to 3 and the lines to write will be 4 to 7 in the myDAQ software. As shown from my breadboard, my circuit was implemented from left to right, starting with the D flip-flop, NAND gate, NOT gate, and decoder, showing with respect to the pin diagram convention displayed on my lab report of all of the manifestations and connections with corresponding ICs. Implementation D, myDAQ connections. Enable is turned on starting at state A. State changes only happen on the edge trigger. Given input 0, state B happens. Given input 1, state A happens. Given input 1, state A happens. Given input 0, state B happens. Given input 0, state C happens. Given input 0, state C happens. Given input 1, state A happens. State changes only occur on the edge trigger. Now implement part E for my lab 2. My breadboard is implemented from left to right, showing the D flip-flop, the NAND gate, and the decoder with respect to the pin diagram convention that will be provided in my lab report. Please view that for extended details. It will give all the manifestations and connections between the 3 corresponding integrated chips, which is being shown here. My input connections are myDAQ line 0 is A of 0, the X input. My myDAQ line 1 is the clock connection. myDAQ line 2 is the enable reset connections. The outputs are myDAQ line 4 S of 0 output, myDAQ line 5 S of 1 output. The reader lines are 0 to 3 and the writer lines are 4 to 7. I connected the breadboard to the panel. I gave all ICs, IC connections, VCC and ground, as well as the whole breadboard power. Thank you. Starting with state A, enable is on. State changes only happen on the edge trigger, positive. So when the input is 0, the state happens. State A happens. When the input is 1, state B happens. When the input is 1, state D happens. When the input is 1, state C happens. When the input is 0, state A happens again. When the input is 1, state B happens. When the input is 1, state D happens. For the myDAQ software connections for both implementations, the write lines for the software are 0 to 3. The read lines for the software is 4 to 7.